We would now begin with our first technical session for today. Uh, the chairperson for this session would be Dr. S. Ramanathan, Assistant Professor, Department of English, VH NSN College, Virudhunagar, Tamil Nadu, India. I welcome you.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm
Are you-
here.
All
Yes,
right.
yes, yes.
All right.
I'm here.
Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I thank the organizers for giving me the chance to share a session in such a conference, which talks about pandemic and humanity. And I hope we are living in such a critical situation, which forces us which forces us to live in inside our house, locking down and doing our duties regularly, like sitting in front of the computers. And this life is known as a new normal life. This is not normal, this is new normal. And it has paved us new ways of learning. It has paved us the new ways of teaching. And we are exploring these things throughout this lockdown. With this short note, let's go for the session. We have 4 presenters. Each presenter can be given 10 minutes, and within 10 minutes you have to make your conclusions, or you have to present your ideas fully well. And after that, your paper will be discussed for 3 minutes. Any questions can be asked from the audience. The chairperson may ask you to clarify something, and you may have to. This is what the plan of the technical session is. First, let me invite, we have 2 presenters. I don't know who is going to present. Let me read out 2 of the names. Almira Kumala Ulfa and Abdul Kafur Marsugi, who are going to talk about the transformation of accounting education in the 4.0 era, a must or not. Welcome, sir. Welcome, ma'am. Please present your ideas.
Yes. Thank you so much. Can you hear my voice well?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay. Wait a minute. I will share my PPT.
Okay, okay. Ma'am, is there any problem?
Yes. Wait a minute. It's still loading now. Okay. Because the connection is a little bit unstable in my country now. So, okay. Wait a minute. Because it's still a buffer. Sorry. Can you see
No,
my
ma'am.
PowerPoint? Still not? Okay, wait a minute. Okay, I will start now. Uh, Hello, everyone.
Hello.
My name is Almira Kamalova. I am accounting lecturer from IAIN Loksmawe, and my partner, Dr. Abdul Ghafur Marzuki, is an English language lecturer from IAIN Palu. Okay, still we wait for my PPT because it's still loading. I don't know what the problem. So I will start. Okay, we want to talk about transformation of accounting education and
Do you want to switch over, sir?
Hello.
Do you want to switch over? Are you going to present?
Hello.
Sir, are you going to present?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Because
yes,
there
yes.
is.
Please. Do it quickly.
Okay.
Do it quickly.
Good afternoon, everyone from Indonesia. Okay, now let's come up to the presentation. An accountant must be aware of the development of the Industrial Revolution 4.0 by looking at the opportunities that exist. In the accounting sector, fluent in technology is one of the keys to facing challenges in 4.0 era. How do accountants respond to the Industrial Revolution 4.0? Accountants need to take into account the following 5 things. The first one is invest in developing digital skills. The second one is implement types of new technologies while learning by doing. The third one is education based on international certification and digital skills. And the fourth, responsive to the changes of industry, businesses, and technological development. And five, curriculum and learning based on human digital skills. So, transformation of accounting education in the era 4.0 era, a must or not? I think the present of the Industrial Revolution 4.0 brought changes to the adjustment of jobs in people, machinery, technology, and processes in various fields of profession, including the accounting profession. The use of robotics and data analytics will take over the basic work done by accountants. The Industrial Revolutions requires the accountant profession to adapt to the development of information technology and big data. During the Industrial Revolution 4.0, there will be extraordinary shift in various fields of science and professions. Therefore, the workings and practices of accountants need to change to improve service quality and global expansion through online communication and the use of cloud computing. Accountants who master the information system can create a system to meet accounting needs, which aims to consolidate business transactions, process them, and produce reliable output. But it is not easy for an accountant to understand the information system. Further education is needed related to the science and information systems. The combination of accounting and information systems can be an advantage and uniqueness for an accountant to the increasingly fierce competition of the Industrial Revolution 4.0 era. In addition to understanding information systems, accountants also need to analyze and progress big data that stores a lot of information because not only skills in preparing financial statements are needed, but they must able to design and analyze financial and non-financial data, especially in digital form. Accountants during the Industrial Revolution 4.0 needed special education in digital technology, globalization, and growing regulations. Knowledge of digital technology is the main field of competency that accountants must possess in the future. At present, there are still many accountants who lack of knowledge in the transformation of financial regulations that combine technological excellence. Professional accountants need these skills to provide more corporate reporting that includes all matters relating to accounting responsibilities. I think Miss Elmira has already here. Hello? Hello, Miss Elmira? Okay, let me continue.
Yes, yes.
Okay, please,
Okay.
you may start your presentation and then I will conclude at the end. Okay, please.
Okay, I will start now. But I cannot share my PowerPoint because wait a minute.
No problem, ma'am. If you
Okay.
have any problems with the PowerPoint, you can orally present.
Yes,
No problem.
because when
Yes.
when I want to share my PPT, my Google Meet is crashed, so
Yes,
so
yes,
I'm
yes.
out. In the,
Come up
okay.
orally. No problem.
Accounting in Industrial Revolution era 4.0 head of the facing the era of the Industrial Revolution today. Development of the digital economy is experiencing very rapid change. This change has a significant impact on the development. Smart machines and robots now take on many roles and seems to rule the world. The Industrial Revolution required the accountant profession to adapt to the development of information technology on big data. Facing the most recent industrial era today, the development of the digital economy has opened up new possibilities while simultaneously increasing risk. These things have a significant impact of accounting development. In this era, the development of technology and innovation seems to race against time. New innovation encourage the creation of new markets and save the existence of all markets. Smart machines and robots now take on many roles and seem to rule the world. This research in the underestimate accountant profession related to the impact of technology on the work of accountant. The accountant profession will face significant change in the next 3 decades. Professional accounting institutions, professional accounting organization, and accounting education institution must be able to respond to emergence of change due to the development of artificial and digital smart technology will push hardly the accountant profession to be in a very challenging situation. Professionals in the field of accounting are required to continue to create a new standard. Yeah? Professional accounting must make a new standard or new regulation in the field of accounting. The role of accountant in the 4.0 industrial revolution because it's now just a longer limited to bookkeeping. However, it includes internal control, providing information analysis for management, especially related to the company financial strategies. Accountant and financial analysis will also move from retrospective to predictive nature. The role of accountant will change radically. The use of cloud-based accounting data will be influenced by the power of using big data. Accounting will integrate non-traditional financial information in a modern system. The work accountant will be more efficient and mobile. So, accountant are expert in the field of financial information provider. The information technology is very important to be a basic need in accountant. And next, for the curriculum in accountant, will be explained by Mr. Abdul Ghafur Marzuki.
Okay, well.
Okay,
now.
For you.
Okay. Now, many universities still haven't developed a new accounting curriculum following by the future needs. Professional accounting organizations must collaborate with universities to gather experts who have experience in new fields and design new courses, namely combining accounting expertise with the use of technology. At the same time, universities must invest in accounting study program to provide training and learning to teach staff in accounting. This is also a pressure for universities to make a curriculum that is relevant for accounting students to adapt to digital connectivity so that graduates who will become accountants are expected to be able to adapt in today's digital era. The task of educators must be able to adapt to existing changes so that learning accounting will be more effective. So based on this explanation, it can be concluded that the transformation of accounting education in the 4.0 era must be done so that prospective accountants can adjust themselves to the development of the Industrial Revolution 4.0, so that prospective accountants can become an accounting capable of adapting to the 4.0 Industrial Revolution. I think that's all. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
Thank you, sir. This is a nice presentation on digitalization of accounting education. Participants, if you have any questions, you can ask the presenters. You can unmute yourself and ask the question to the presenters. I have a question, sir. You talked about the digitalization of accounting education. You talked only the merits. Is there any demerits of this package? While implementing it to the students, do you come across any problems? So can you hear me?
Hello, Miss Almira, could you hear? Hello?
Any one of you can answer. What kind of the problem you have come across while implementing it to the students?
Can you repeat your question, sir? Because the connection in here unstable, so your voice is a buffer in my in my connection. Can you repeat your question, sir?
Have you come across any problems in implementing this package?
Yes. I don't have a problem because what? Because my student is so concerned this study accounting and with technology because it's so interesting for them. Yeah. Because you know what? My student is very interesting, very excited. If I'm teach them with some tools like technology system, so it's so interesting for them. In case it's just my student, I don't know how about the another student, but in my institution is not is so good to implement that. Thank you so much.
Okay, let me add some point. The big problem in implementing this technology is that relating to the curriculum, because there are some universities still haven't developed a new accounting curriculum following or relating to the digital technology. They are still traditional, still conventional. So they still not aware that the technology used in accounting is very beneficial. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for a nice presentation. Next, I invite Dimbi Sonawal to present a paper on impact of COVID-19 pandemic on the spring festivals of Assam. She is a research scholar doing research on folklore. Yes, come up quickly. Presenters, please stick to the time.
A very good morning, respected chairperson and all the participants. Today my presentation topic is impact of COVID-19 pandemics on the Spring Festival of Assam. Coronavirus, which is COVID-19, is an infectious disease which causes illness in the respiratory system in the humans. The virus was detected in Wuhan, China in late 2019 and has set off a global pandemic. Due to COVID-19 pandemics enter a world lockdown and it impacts on everyone's daily life. In India, national lockdown was started from 23rd March 2020, so Assam has also affected by the lockdown. So, Spring Festival of Assam. The month of April brings with it the most anticipated festival of Assam Burgess, with the advanced spring season, the blooming flower and the melodious voice of the cocoa carries alongside the favors, which is hard to explain with words, but reader felt. The Assamese people welcome this vivid sense of modernity by celebrating the joyous festival of Rangali Bihu. The Rangali Bihu is the national festival of Assam. This festival is celebrated to mark the beginning of the Assamese New Year and also welcome the spring season. It usually falls into the second week of April. It is full of happiness and bliss, and the same is celebrated through music and dance. It is celebrated continuously for 7 days with different names. The most famous folk dance from Assam, Bihu dance, is performed in these festivals. There are also some different kind of spring festivals which are celebrated by the tribal people of Assam, such as Baisagu. Baisagu is the spring festival of the Barukasaris. The Barukasaris are indigenous Chinese community residing in the Assam. Among the Barukasaris, this festival lasts for 7 days. The whole period being given up for the merrymaking, dancing, fest, etc. Then Vaikhu. Vaikhu is the spring festival of the Rabha community. The Rabha perform the Vaikhu festivals with the worship to ancestor and god and goddesses. It is celebrated 3rd week of April. Then Ibaku Bisu. Ibaku Bisu is the spring festival of the Deuri community. It is celebrated 3rd week of April. This festival marks the beginning of the new year among the Deuri community. Then Sagma Misbah. The spring festival of the Tiwa community known as the Sagma Misbah. The meaning of the term Sagma Misbah is that Sagma means all together and Misbah means to dance. Dance and singing bring along with your festivals. So, impact of COVID-19 pandemics on the spring festivals. There are a lot of impacts. So, first one is unable to perform the ritual. There is a lot of ritual which is associated with the spring festival. For example, colorful rituals mark the first day of Rangali Bihu, Baisagu, Vaikhu celebrated as a Goru Bihu. This the day is dedicated to the cattle and livestock. Traditionally, they exchange vegetable sticks for the Goru Bihu, but could not this time. There is a tradition among the people of Assam in the new year as a gift, they give the new cloth to their close one. But this time, they are unable to exchange their new year cloth with their families, relatives, and loved ones. Also, they are unable to perform their folk dance, folk music, folk songs, which is part of the spring festival. The use of social media. Due to pandemics, people are unable to perform their cultural performance at the public platform, so they use different kind of social media, such as the Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and regional news channels to showcase their cultural activity like folk songs, folk dance, folk music from the homes. So, spreading the awareness to the folk songs. Folk songs are an integral part of the spring festival. These times, folk create new kind of folk songs which is related to the coronavirus. For example, they say at home, stay to keep Karuna, at bay Govindairam. Celebrating Bihu together, flocking in hoarders will any invite Karuna Govindairam. Considering Bihu assembling, people will be nice to excuse for Karuna to come. This will be social distancing and Corona will find its place amongst us. Corona please, Corona please. People lives we say do not break Corona chains. Life will come to an end. If we survive, if our race survive, we will get our Bihu again. So this let us keep it low and we will singing the glory of community. And like that, there's a lot of folk songs which is related to the coronavirus. Then they are unable to organize cultural events. During spring season, people of Assam organize different kind of cultural event, different part of Assam. These type of cultural events commonly known as a Bihu function. In Bihu function, they enjoy the rich culture such as the folk songs, folk dance, and colorful culture, and it also has provided an opportunity to many artists to showcase their hidden potential. Organizer of the Bihu Programmer cancelled this year, celebrating including open field and stage performance in order to maintain social distancing to prevent the spread of coronavirus. Then economics. Economics is a pillar of the one country. Due to pandemics, Assam also affected by the economics during spring season. This is the times local people earn the money for the whole year selling the local made of food items, cloth, and musical instruments. For example, the retrievals of the handloom that was once ubiquitous in Assam textile hub of Sualkusi has been silent due to pandemic. Sualkusi is situated in Kamrup district on the north bank of the Brahmaputra, just 30 kilometers from Guwahati. Is considered one of the biggest weaving villages in the world. It is famous for its sleek waves like Eri Muga Path, but in March, 70,000 handlooms come to a expressing health, leaving thousands of weavers without an income. So, for Assam textile industry has accrued of 130 crores, of which is 100 crore was lost is only the Sualkusi. So, apart from that, this is the time folk artists earn the money for the year, perform different type of cultural programs in different part of Assam. But this year there is no cultural event, so folks are unable to earn their money for their survival. Then traveling issue. During spring seasons, a lockdown first two was ongoing in Assam, so the student worker who stay inside or outside of Assam could not come to their home. So they are unable to celebrate the New Year in their families and loved ones. And then last one is marriage issues. In spring season, in Assam, spring is the best season to marry and start the new journey of a couple. But this is the time the intermarriage program cancelled due to the pandemic to maintain social distancing. Then I come to conclude. For the first time in the history of Assam, the celebration of the Spring Festival was silent at first due to the extension national lockdown. The festival and ritual are likely to get affected due to social distancing law. The worldwide spread of the COVID-19 is affecting everyone. Therefore, it is imperative that everyone stay home, stay safe, and celebrate the festival with own family indoors and rejoicing. It is said that cultures and rich time pace. So this time our culture get new type of celebration platform, that is social media. And thank you.
Thank you very much for your short and sweet presentation over the festivals of Assam. Since you are a scholar from doing your research in folklore, you have the finest ideas about the folk festivals. Participants, if you have any questions, you can address it to the presenter. Ma'am, you talked about the use of social media during COVID-19, and the question is, do you restrict?
Yes, sir.
Do you restrict the use of social media for festivals only with COVID-19?
No, sir, there is no restriction. Everyone can record it from their homes what they want, because all are cannot move from the home, so they enjoy whatever they want, but there is no restriction, sir.
Okay. Are you satisfied with the use of social media for such festivals? Because festival promotes love among people.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are satisfied with that, huh? Okay, fine.
Thank you so much,
Fine. Thank you very much, participants. Any questions? If there are no questions, we can go for the next presenter, Sangeeta Gorakh, an MPhil research scholar from Kakatiya University, to talk about the expression of migrant workers during pandemic era. Yes, we welcome you, ma'am. Sangeeta, ma'am, are you on the forum? I don't think that ma'am is available. So we can go for the next presenter. You can invite Hafizullah Sheikh, Senior Assistant Professor, Department of Political Science, Government College for Women from Kashmir, who is going to talk about COVID-19 underlying trends that made the world confront a new reality. Yes, Hafizullah Sheikh.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, audible, sir, audible. Go ahead.
Greetings from my side, sir. I'm from Srinagar, Kashmir.
Okay, thank you.
Before I start, I would like to request you that, as you know, we have 2G services, so I hope it will support me till I will
Okay, sure.
presentation.
Sure, sir. We can manage.
So, as you yourself said that the title is Underlying Trends that Made the World Confront a New Reality. Of course, it is a very broad title, and I have every hope that I won't be able to sum up, because everything what the pandemic impact of pandemic is can come under this title. But I have tried to sum up a few underlying trends. Probably all of us know that in a very systematic manner. So I start that the entire world observed an unexpected lockdown because of the coronavirus, which was first detected in Wuhan, China in late December 2019. The infamous virus rapidly spread globally and became a major public health emergency throughout the world. That has separated the fastest, caused the most extensive infections, and been hardest to contain. The world realized that because of so advancement and global connectivity, the apparent developments can more affect the people globally than advantages. Dominated by the pandemic, governments across the globe are confronting a health crisis, an economic crisis, and a crisis of institutional legitimacy. The pandemic has changed the world and ushered in a new era. What it has done is intensify and expedite underlying trends that made the world confront a new reality in a period of a few months, what would have taken several years. These trends include the return of nationalism, death blow to multilateralism, retreat of globalization, and most importantly, the pandemic has led to havoc on the global economy, unleashing the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression. Now, COVID-19 has continued to spread around the world with over 40 million cases and nearly more than 1.1 million deaths attributed to this disease as of 18 October 2020. The virus has spread the fastest, caused the most extensive infections, and been hardest to contain. It presents the choices for the governments, tough choices for the governments, local communities, health and school systems, as well as families and business. Most people argue that the world we are entering will be fundamentally different from what existed before. Some say it will end globalization and intensify and expedite underlying trends that would make the world to confront a new reality. Others hope it will usher in a new age of global cooperation. And still others project that these trends include the return of nationalism, death blow to multilateralism, and most importantly, the pandemic has a devastating impact on global economy, undermined free trade, and led to regime change in most countries all over the world. This pandemic alone is pushing 71 to 100 million people into extreme poverty, according to a report published by Committee for the Coordination of Statistical Activities, CCSA, in September 2020. Most policymakers and investors throughout the world wrongly assumed that this pandemic would have only a brief, limited China-specific impact. But now, as an established fact, they realize that it is generating a global shock and economic disruption that has an enduring impact or even a nail in the coffin for the current era of globalization. Throughout the world, suddenly, interconnectedness of goods, services, capital, and people stopped. The first visible sign which US consumers observed came when virus shuttered factories in China, prompted delays in Apple's delivery of iPhones, and continued as other firms reported interruptions. According to Philip Legrian, when the pandemic spread in the United States, Americans learned that 72% of the facilities producing pharmaceutical ingredients for US consumption are located abroad, mostly in the European Union, India, and China. The share is reported to be as high as 97% for antibiotics. The pandemic laid extraordinary impact on tourism, which comprises numerous industries, visitors, food and beverage, serving activities, passenger transport, air, road, railway, water equipment, etc. Travel agencies and other reservation services, as well as cultural support and recreational events throughout the world. According to World Tourism Barometer, August-September 2020, international tourist arrivals, overnight visitors declined 65% in the first half of 2020, with arrivals in June down to 93%, and massive fall in international travel demand during the first half of 2020 translates into a loss of 440 million international arrivals and about US 460 billion in export revenues from international tourism. What this represents, that it represents over 5 times the loss in receipts recorded in 2009 amid the global economic and financial crisis. By regions, Asia and Pacific, the first region to suffer the impact of COVID-19 saw a 72% decrease in arrivals in the first half of 2020. The second hardest hit was Europe with a 66% decline, followed by the Americans 55%, Africa and Middle East both 57%. The extent of the damage to global economy caused by novel coronavirus COVID came first time into focus when UN economist and IMF chief Kristalina Georgieva announced a likely US 50 billion drop in worldwide manufacturing exports in February alone. According to the International Monetary Fund, the global economy is expected to shrink by over 3% in 2020, the steepest slowdown since the Great Depression of the 1930s. Further, the World Bank says in its June report 2020, Global Economic Prospect forecast that the global economy will shrink by 5.2% this year. That would represent the deepest recession since the Second World War, with the largest fraction of economies experiencing declines in per capita output since 1870. The pandemic has rocked the fundamentals of world's economy as an incomparable crisis, and there is substantial uncertainty about its impact on people's lives and livelihoods throughout the world. Countries all over the world face multiple crises, most importantly, a financial crisis, a collapse in commodity prices, and many other like crises, which undoubtedly predict a worldwide fragile economies, including the G20. OCID Economic Outlook Report, September 2020, lays stress that restoring confidence will be crucial to how successfully economies can recover. And for this, we need to learn to safely live with the virus. The report says that all G20 countries, with the exception of China, will have suffered recession in 2020. Although a fragile recovery is expected next year in many countries, output at the end of 2021 will still be below levels at the end of 2019 and will below what was projected prior to the pandemic. One more underlying trend that made the world confront a new reality is a return of nationalism, which is a global and ubiquitous idea in the contemporary world. At the risk of COVID-19 pandemic, lockdown was probably shared as a common protective mechanism across the world. Florin Weber, a Luxembourg political scientist, historian, and professor working on inter-ethnic relations, ethnic conflict, and nationalism, focusing primarily on Balkans, describes COVID-19 a global, unique, shared experience. The author argues that even the two world wars were far from being global, with large parts of the world, from Latin America to most of sub-Saharan Africa, only marginally affected. In India alone, 1.3 billion people came under coronavirus lockdown. Lockdowns around the world varied from full quarantine to restrictions on travel to closure of businesses. But all in all, billions of people got affected. In an article published in Business Insider Australia, Maya Zengwiz wrote that the numbers of people affected today dwarf even the largest scale events that come to mind. The two largest global conflicts in human history, the First and the Second World Wars, they were fought by a combined total of around 135 million. It won't be unreasonable to say that after India announced lockdown, probably half of the world's population came under lockdown. This all prompted the economic collapse, the closure of borders, and other similar effects are also felt. This quickly compels to easily imagine that the post-pandemic world will be fundamentally different than the pre-pandemic one. In between pre and pandemic, time change surfaced on the contours of nationalism. As the pandemic proceeds to a standstill, a number of observers have noted that a global rise of nationalism might be a consequence of the pandemic and states' responses. This implicitly developed the sense of nationalism as people across the world look to support their own communities. However, it is too early to predict that pandemic has brought a retreat of nationalism, but prima facie indicators reflect that nationalism is becoming visible in numerous forms during the pandemic response. Now, leaving some parts, I will come to the conclusion that there are a number of possible futures, all dependent on how governments and society respond to this pandemic. Most people throughout the world will be the silent spectators to observe unexpected drastic change. Post COVID-19 world will reflect new ways and drift all across the world. But before that, there must be international cooperation to develop a people's vaccine free to all humanity. For all this, a concentrated effort from all quarters across the globe is the need of the hour. Let there be a cohesive plan of action backed by unanimous world opinion and supported by strong financial package. Most importantly, this all should be followed by a positive political will to restore economic growth, maintain market stability, and strengthen resilience to counter the ongoing implicit losses of COVID-19 pandemic and to safeguard people's lives and protect their livelihoods. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Nice presentation. Without any technical features, we are calling from Srinagar. And since you are from the field of political science, I would like to ask this question: will the normal life may return in the aftermath of coronavirus situation? Hello, sir. Sir.
Hello.
Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir. Are you getting me, sir?
Yes, yes. Yes, 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 sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Have you got my question?
yes, yes, sir. Let
Yes.
me
Okay, sir.
start individually, sir.
Yes, what's your opinion? Your opinion.
Yes, yes. See, sir, change will occur.
Ah,
When this pandemic started, you will be a little bit sad. I was assigned a duty of being nodal officer here in Srinagar. By one way or other way, I got affected by this pandemic, COVID-19. And of course, then my two daughters, and we were shifted in a hospital where we were for 15 days. It was very difficult for me and my two daughters that will the normal life, I mean, can we see again the normal life? Even I have two twin daughters. But now, with the march of time, I observe that people have taken this coronavirus as a part of their life. So, from individual to states, I have every hope that normalcy would be there, of course, but with some profound impacts. It will take time, of course, it will take time, but world have observed and faced many big challenges where it was not easy to say that normalcy will be back. I am optimist that a time will come, of course, if there is international cooperation, keeping bicep things aside, we will be all normal and life will be okay, sir. This is my personal view.
okay. Okay, okay. Thank you very much. You have a nice explanation over the question, and you are so optimistic.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Can we locate Sangeeta Korak? No. Okay. Okay. Let's conclude. And we have three nice presentations from different fields, which talked about almost we are moving towards the new life, or new normal life, or new reality. Reality is one, but we are moving towards a new reality which has new rules for the lives. And it is necessary for the humanity to accommodate ourselves to the new life in order to keep ourselves existent in the world. Okay, no problem. But the question is, with the advent of this digitalization and the education, or in the fields of commerce, or in any field, everything is digitalized. If you say so, what will be the position of common man, the street vendors? Are they affected or not? Are they going to grow? Are we going to leave aside the requirements of these people? This is the basic question that time has to answer. Nice. And the crisis, one of the crises coronavirus or the COVID-19 situation has created is on the economic impact of the entire nations that professor from the political science field has talked about it widely, giving some data. Nice. The economy falls, but we have hope that the economy can be rejuvenated in the aftermath phase of the COVID-19. But at the same time, here too, we have to concentrate on the ordinary people who are striving hard for making out the daily life, or who are struggling for their bread and butter. This is the problem that COVID-19 has put it forward to us. And we find many street hawkers, street vendors selling vegetables in the streets during the COVID-19. Are they secure? Are their economic conditions provide the security of life from the COVID issues or from any epidemic issues? These are the questions that we have to address, and the forum has to address it to the government, and the government has to decide whether it's possible to take over all the people into the consideration, and to bring out a better nation, with the inclusion of these subaltern communities. Thank you very much for joining us. It's a nice session. I once again thank the organizers for giving me this chance to hear the intellectual deliberations from different people from different parts of the world. Thank you very much. Sir, it's over to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for chairing the session.
Thank you.